It is opening day for most teams. We had opening night last night for your Yankees, but everybody else in action today. And as we record this, there have been plenty of games underway. Paul Skeens got rocked this morning.
He did.
But we're going to look at some night games tonight. Only 2 on the night schedule for opening day, so we can do a little preview of those 2.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. There's actually only 11 games on today. I thought it would still be a full deck besides Yankees-Giants, but there's still a handful of teams that are not playing. But we do have almost, by the time anyone's listening to this, almost all of these games will be underway or completed. So that's why we're just going to take a quick look at the night games to see what we have on site. Very light here. We'll find some more consistent and specific ways to dive into these games over time. But for time's sake and the short 2-game look, we'll just look at a few things. It is also the first day, basically, of the season. Will be a lot more to take away from when we have weeks under our belt and lots of data to sort through. So as we have done all show, I'll pull up the predictions here. I'll jump right into D-backs Dodgers, which is a nice little NL West clash for the first game of the night. Got a few edges in game lines here, last that I checked, biggest of which would be the Diamondbacks upset. Do believe money lines at a lower edge range had a positive ROI this last season in historical results. You get 32% here, a little 3.2% edge for the Diamondbacks to win. I don't know if I'm jumping on that against the fading the top team on the opening day of the season. Who knows? We've seen crazier things. We just saw Paul Skeens get rocked. The White Sox are up 1-0 right now. It's baseball. You never know what happens.
Yeah,
I would be more inclined to take that than the +1.5. Personally, I don't really like run lines in baseball. A team 1 run away near the end of a game, giving up, getting shellacked in the bullpen can be pretty rough. And it's happens pretty often, late game scoring, games going into extras. And sometimes when the game goes into extras, you basically know you're cooked because of, depending on who's up first or up last, you got no shot basically if a team scores even 1 or 2 runs. So just not my personal favorite market. I would, and, kind of like we were talking about with the basketball stuff, is if it's projected to be a fairly close game and there's value on the money line, I'd rather just take the upset. In the long run, that will probably work out because good teams are still going to lose a significant number of games over the course of the season. And if you can find those spots, you'll find some profit over the year. Props wise, there's a good bit here, primarily on pitchers. The last I looked, if the things have stayed, there are a few things in here I kind of like. Zach Gallen over 4.5 hits. It's a little juicy, so maybe you use it as a parlay piece or you take him for 6+ if you like. It is a 66.2% probability, but he tied his second worst whip of his career last year at 1.26, career worst ERA of 4.83. He's kind of been trending down in the wrong direction for 3 seasons now, facing an absolutely elite, potent lineup. Would be surprised if the Dodgers limp into the season and don't get teed up off Zach Gallen, a pitcher they've seen many, many times in their collective careers. I'm a little hesitant on some pitcher props, like outs in the first couple outings of a season for a pitcher. Yamamoto here, for example, he threw 5 innings in his first 2 starts last season. This is, here you're only getting 1 out into the 5th, 5.1 innings, so that's certainly possible. But he was then regularly pitching 6+ innings throughout the year, going deep into games. I think sometimes you maybe want to have a little approach these bets with caution on the opening night of the season. But 60.5% probability is pretty strong. We had these on Logan Webb and Max Fried last night. Fried was easy. Logan Webb actually still got very close despite getting lit up pretty early. So they are aces. They might be, managers may be more inclined to let them go the distance. But I just approach these with a little bit of caution to start the year. Looking at just our projections now, as far as, everybody wants to see the home runs. So let's take a look at those. I'll just put in both these 2 games here. Ohtani, unsurprisingly, leads the way, 22.7%. He was like +200 last I saw. So you're not basically never going to get fair odds on Shohei Ohtani. A lot of home run market guys, it's very difficult market to find an actual edge on. We only had 2 edges all day today. Cal Raleigh. Oh, sorry, that's the other game. Kyle Tucker, 17.1%. He'd be fair at plus 480. So if you can get him, I'd say north of 400. That's probably solid. Again, probably hard to find actual fair odds on stars like that especially on opening night when they're so much attention on them. I personally kind of like Teoscar Hernandez tonight. He's just a little under 17%, but he crushed curveballs last year with a 600 slugging percentage, and that was Gallen's second most used pitch behind fastballs, which of course Teo was great at hitting as well. So if you're picking one guy, I think I'd go for him. I believe he was about plus 380, so still not quite fair odds. It's hard to do that, but he would be a guy on my home run radar tonight at least.
I remember doing a couple of years ago, we used to do a show called Proper Chop, and Teoscar was a frequent name in Proper Chop for me. So, and it was curveball related. I remember that. Good call out from you. All right. What about the late nightcap?
Late game. Guardians, Mariners.
This is what I love about baseball, though. It just 160 days of just perfectly staggered games.
Yeah.
You can watch it all day for 6 months if you want to. I love it.
Yeah, there's always something late. There's almost always daytime baseball. It's really great. Unlike sometimes where you get slates just crushed into one another. I mean, even tonight's NBA slate, you couldn't give us one game at 8 p.m. They're all 7 p.m. starts. So,
dude, I'm the biggest college.
Great if you're at the bar, I guess.
There's only 4 games tonight in college hoops. They're the 4 biggest games in the world, and 2 of them are scheduled 20 minutes apart. Yeah. It absolutely kills me. Now I have multiple screens. Don't worry, people, but at least baseball does it right. I'm going to be having this on the 3rd screen tonight as I watch the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock starts seems too easy, I guess, but I digress. So yeah, nightcap, not nearly as much value in the game lines. Last I checked in this one, almost nothing to speak of. Very slim edge here on the over 6.5. Solid probability of 56% though. 6.5 is about as low as a total you'll ever get in baseball. So I don't hate that, to be honest. Almost regardless of the teams. Even if it's the aces, it's just such a low total. Sometimes I feel like you almost got to jump on a number that you're not often going to get. It's like if you get Shohei at plus 300 to hit a home run, I am going to bet on Shohei plus 300 unless there is a hurricane coming in from the outfield. And even then, I still might consider his raw power of just yeeting it through the eye of the storm. But not a bad play anyway, as far as probability, just no value to speak of. Similar with the Mariners, very strong probability, but minus 170 and no edge is not very attractive of a bet to me. Looking at the player props, for the most part, the probabilities were on the lower side here. You're seeing a lot under 50%. So just right around 52% here on Luke Raleigh to get a hit. So not quite the stuff you're looking for if you want strong probabilities. This one does stand out, though. I don't hate the BB prop. Over 4.5 hits, 56% probability is really strong. Get 3.2% edge at plus money, which I love. His raw numbers have gotten a little worse with each season through a 1.23 whip last year, 4.24 ERA. He was a little better versus lefties, and the Mariners do have a lefty-heavy projected lineup, but it's a very potent lineup. You got Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, Randy Arozarena, all before you get halfway through. So it's pretty tough for anybody to face. That team obviously has very high expectations after what they did last year and came up a little short. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them coming out swinging. If this was minus 120 or something, I'd have less, I'd have more pause, but really good odds on a 56% probability for a guy who's not trended in the right direction, at least since he entered the league. And then if I'm picking one guy for a dinger in this one, let me just isolate this game real quick. I think it's Julio for me. He's only 14.1% here, so he's a little lower. Cal Raleigh is obviously going to be very popular, but Julio had a 475 slug or better versus 3 of Bibby's top pitch types last year, 4-seam, sweeper, and a sinker. He really turns on fastball variance and I feel like we're still kind of waiting for that Julio Rodriguez superstar breakout, and I could see it coming this year. So he's a top 2 probability in the whole game, so I like that. And like we said, matches up pretty well with the pitcher who's been trending in the wrong direction. So that would be my little 2-legger, Julio and Teo.
Yep, I love it. And they both end in O. I love alliteration, even if it's inverse alliteration. Very nice.
O and Eds.
Yeah. No, Julio, also just one of the most fun players to bet baseball props on, has been for years at this point, but there's just a joy to the way he plays the game. And when he has bright moments, which are frequent, it's hard to beat the thrill of having a winning ticket thanks to J-Rod in your pocket. So I love it. All right. Yeah. Is there other baseball things going forward to tease on this very program, Dave?
Yes,
we got to figure out how to do the home run round robin a little bit.
Yes, right? We do. We do need to sort that out. Give me a few days. Let me figure stuff out. All right. We got a tournament going on. We got baseball starting. I got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. We will figure that out though. We'll be back in action. Maybe even tomorrow. We'll see. If today's slate was not entirely during the day, I probably still would have put one together. I would have had at least a little bit of time to look through, but unless we did a morning show, we wouldn't even be able to turn one around in time for this show. And believe it or not, while I very much use the Dimers probabilities as the number one data point when building the round robin, I do a lot of research to make sure I'm not just blindly tailing stuff. I check the weather, I check the matchup. If a guy, sucks at hitting the top 2 primary pitches, I'll probably look to the second guy in that game and see if it matches up a little better. So it's not super quick. I do care and I do try to put in an effort there. So I will never turn around a home run round robin just for the sake of doing so. But I did really want to do one today.
Hashtag integrity. We'd never have doubted the Dave work ethic. I can promise you that. No, that's the key. We need night games. And as fun as opening day is, it's opening day. There's day games. There's too many of them today. So stay tuned. We'll have more normal weekday slates by next week, and hopefully we can get back to our favorite way to bet baseball for you. In the meantime, get Dimers Pro, 3-day free trial only on the app. That way you can sort through all of these projections for yourself and bet any of these MLB games that you want to get your eyes on.